Yeah, that one. Because I don't think High Market was on MTGO at the time.
Alright guys, so forgive us our Commander sidebar as we get underway here with another Friday Night Magic tournament from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. A paltry attendance tonight, only 13 players, but 4 rounds of Magic regardless, followed by a cut to top 4 already underway with our round 1 feature match. On the left, it's Logan Cutlip, who's playing Mono Green Devotion, splashing blue for the likes of Kiora, Prophet of Krufix, Cyclonic Rift, and Kiora's Follower. He's on the board quick with a Burning Tree into Sylvan Caryatid on curve, and his opponent is Garrett Meadows, who is playing a good stuff deck that plays Chord of Calling. So some pretty interesting strategies here as we see Logan with a turn 3 Pelucranos. Garrett with a lot of silver bullets with a lot of interesting interactions. He's got a full suite of Planeswalkers. Should be a pretty interesting game of Magic. My name, as always, is Zachary Evans. I'm joined tonight by the round 1 bye, which is the local legend Adam Vickers.
Instead of being the round 1 bye, I got it.
Yes. Heyo, jokes. So Logan's deck is in the glare area there. We do see
it's a Planeswalker.
that's a Nissa Worldwaker revealed off a Course of Krufix, as Logan adding to his board with a Elvish Mystic. Garrett has matched him with Pelucranos, and it looks like that's interesting there.
Trade.
Yeah. I guess Logan's fine with that because Garrett can untap and murder. He can 2-for-1 him with he can get rid of the Mystic if he wants to. He may need that mana for something, but with only 1 card left in hand, I think
his board's still a lot better than Garrett, with the Pelucranos.
But not that much better, and it's also a board that gets blown out by a Mizzy Mortars, which Garrett plays 3 of. We're a long way from that portion of the game, and I don't know how many red sources that Garrett actually has access to, other than the carry.
I don't even think he has a Stomping Ground.
He's got 2 of them. I think one of those is a Temple, too. Yeah, he's got the Temple of Abandon as well.
He's got another Pelucranos, I'd assume.
Yeah, so we started this turn scrying off the Temple of Mystery, the oft-unseen Temple of Mystery. And Garrett goes for a Ral Zarek, and he's going to bolt the bird, so to speak. Use the -2 on Ral Zarek to pick off the Elvish Mystic. Not too many times we can see Ral Zarek on camera, one of the most underplayed Planeswalkers. It's not a card that is bad by any means, it's just one of those niche cards that just doesn't have a home. I thought we would see it back before, about this time last year, before rotation, when the Geist of St. Traft was still legal, because it's perfect in those kind of American tempo decks, where you tap their blocker, untap your land, serve in with your Geist, make some mana. It is very good in Commander in games where you can untap a Gilded Lotus. Think about that.
I think so.
So Logan serving in here, going to do 2 damage to Garrett, dropping him to 16. More importantly, pick off that Rouse there. But of course, Garrett knew that was coming. And here is a Karanos. We'll bring that bad boy up. A source of card advantage, also a source of creature removal, depending on what's on the top of Garrett's deck. Also, Karanos pairs nicely with Courser of Krufix, which Garrett is playing as well, as you almost always bolt something, because you need 2 lands in a row on the top of your deck for it to actually trigger.
It's almost a better route there.
It's a very good card. It's making a big splash in Modern as well. Almost every deck that can cast it is playing a copy of it.
The American Gods decks are definitely playing it.
Twin is playing it. The Angel Pod decks that splash blue are also playing it. Just the Kiki Control decks are...
I know it was in the side for a lot of them, but now they're moving one to the main.
It's never there are some matchups where it's not that great, but just playing one of them is not that much of expense, especially in the pod decks where you can tutor it up. So Logan on his turn leads off with a Nissa Worldwaker. He's going to quickly untap 3 force. Only has 3 because one of them is a Yavimaya. We of course knew about that as it was off the top. Well, we saw it on top courtesy of the Course of Krufix. Now on top, a Kiora Planeswalker. So Logan presenting a lot of diverse threats here. It's very interesting. You're playing basically a mono green deck and have not 1 but 2 must-answer Planeswalkers. the Kiora in particular is going to be difficult for Garrett to deal with here.
Yeah, since you'll be able to target the Kronos with it.
Yeah, he's so far behind, and even in a scenario in which Garrett can find another 5 devotion. See, this is the problem with the Kronos and the Rug deck. You're never turning it on.
No.
Because all of your permanents are green. You know. If that was a Nylea, it'd be on now, but it is not. So we play Breeding Pool off the top, revealing a Chord of Calling. So probably the best draw for Garrett next turn. Garrett will go up to 17 off the Courser trigger and add an Elvish Mystic to his board. And end of turn, Logan, interesting. He's going to shuffle away his... What does he need that Caryatid for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He needs 6 mana for that. He's got access to 9 mana if he untaps with Nissa.
Assuming he has a Primordial or a
Maybe. Revealing off the top, it's a Yavimaya Coast, a Forest on top after the draw. Go up to 21, revealing... that might be a Reclamation. No, that's a Genesis Hydra on top. So what? Logan, we know one card in his hand is the Yavimaya Coast he drew this turn. Very curious about what that other card is. It should be mana intensive.
What's the one that draw? Which that wouldn't even be that great here.
It has to be a Hydra here. Has to be a Hydra. Now that he has 4 4s, it should be 4/11. It is, in fact. There's a Pelucranos. There's a Prophet of Krufix. Nixos, Breeding Pool on Nylea.
And then Shine.
Yep, so the choices here are Pelucranos, Nylea, and Prophet of Krufix. Or you could pick a Genesis Hydra that dies immediately.
Yeah, that's fine.
So what to pick here? Nylea's pretty good in this spot. Prophet of Krufix is amazing card, but I'm not sure it's really that good in this spot.
Because really, the Nylea just to give them all trample to
punch through. It's going to be the Nylea or the Pelucranos here. The Pelucranos is not that great, as you need a lot of... I mean, you can pick off that Mystic, but the Courser being a 4 toughness, and you can't target the Caryatid, doesn't seem that great. Yeah, I'd probably take Nylea here too. I'm not sure if it's right or not, but
I think that's the best choice.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying I am confident in my inability to play Magic enough to know that I have no idea if it's right, fundamentally right or wrong. But it seems like it comes down to Pelucranos or Nylea, and I think Nylea does.
The board's just going to get stale, and you need something to punch through.
And more importantly, it's another card that's very difficult for Garrett to answer, as we see. I think that's a Hornet Queen revealed off the top for Logan, and that's a card that it's a card that Garrett can answer. He is a Mizzium Mortars deck, as he gains 1 off of the Forest. We know there's a Chord in his hand, right? The Chord was what he drew for this turn. Yeah. The Forest was off the top. Genesis Hydra coming next turn, but likely going to get shuffled away by a Chord. And with the amount of mana that Garrett has, knowing his opponent is not a counterspell deck, he can basically do whatever he wants here. I know he has a Xenagos the Reveler in his deck. God of Revels, I should say. He's just going to fire up a giant Hydra of his own. This one only good for 6, revealing Hydra, Courser, Land, Chord, Hydra, Land. So another Courser, it looks like. And Garrett will shuffle those away and pass the turn back. Sitting back on defense, so Logan draws the Hornet Queen we know about. Or we knew about, I should say, revealing a Burning Tree Emissary on the top. So the choice, what do we do here? At some point, it feels like we should start making 4/4s with Nissa.
Well, you might also run into the
Mortars.
Yeah, Mortars.
Yeah, and I should point out too, drawing the Chord with the last turn with the Kronos trigger, dealing 3 damage to the Nissa. So even if we plus Nissa here, it's going to die likely to the second Kronos trigger, as there's a Genesis Hydra on top. We do tick it up, making an expendable Yavimaya Coast into a 4/4. Now we gotta have some attacks here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't quite have 7. If we leave the Yavimaya Coast back, we can pump twice with Nylea here.
I think it was swinging with the
Yeah, he's decided. I'm just going to. I'm not saying that's.
No.
There might not be good enough here, but of course all these have trample due to Nylea.
Mm-hmm.
And Garrett doing a quick match check here and realizing we can only pump twice. So here are our triggers. We're going to try to pick off. We're going to try to bounce off a Courser, pick off an emissary, and eat a land, but taking 6, 9, 15 in the process here.
Well, he still has. I just don't know what you could get with the Chord.
The chat very cleverly pointing out that we've got Glare of Subdual online.
Ew.
Shout out to Ravnica Block.
Don't miss that card.
Yep. So we pump the Coast, trade with the Genesis Hydra. When it's all settled, Logan is left with his 9/9 Hydra, Courser Nylea, and the Mana Dorks he didn't swing with. Garrett only loses his own Hydra. So I think Garrett's got to be pretty pleased with that. Draws the Hydra as expected, finishes off Nylea. There's a land on top, so we're going to gain 2 life, go up to 5. Every bit of life matters at this point. Stomping Ground on top. How can Garrett get out of this? We know the last card in Logan's hand is a Hornet Queen.
I think Garrett needs his own Hornet Queen.
He does, and I don't know that's going to be good enough because of Trample.
Trample, true. Nylea's Disciple wouldn't be too shabby.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't think that plays that main.
No, you could play one of those. Is that the Gain Life one?
Yeah,
you could almost play one of them. You could almost play this Chord deck like a Birthing Pod deck.
I mean, I don't.
I'm sure he plays one Reclamation Sage.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm sure one of Karanos. There is a Xenagos the Reveler. Now he has access with this. It pays for itself +1, so he's netting mana off casting this. What is this?
There's no need to.
I don't know what we're doing here.
I guess maybe convoke him.
Genesis Hydra for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We ticked up the Xenagos, I believe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 8 makes it for 6. We found a Nylea of our own.
It's not too shabby.
It would be a lot better if the old legend rule existed. Unfortunately for Garrett, his opponent's creatures are still going to have trample. But he has put up a lot of defense
I think that's
here.
still.
I don't know. That's.
I don't know how big is Garrett's. Well, he has one Hydra that would be the same as Garrett's, right? I mean, as Logan's.
Well, Logan's is a 9/9.
And Garrett's for
Burning Tree off the top. There is a Yavimaya Coast, so Logan's going to go up to 22. And then reveals another Yavimaya Coast. So what does Logan want to do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 2 triggers here. So that's important. I think at a minimum here we swing with...
But I don't think you're able to...
You swing with Nylea and with the Hydra, I think. At some point...
But I don't think you get anything... I mean, you have to just to try and kill something, but I don't get anything... Because the Nyleas can bounce off each other.
True. No, you're exactly right. But you have to... I mean, with Garrett at 4, you have to swing with the...
I think you have to
Hydra.
swing with everything.
Well, everything is only... I mean, the course... who knows? Yeah, this is the part of Magic I hate. This is why I don't like Limited, because it gets so muddled up. You try to find an intricate way out of this maze. If he attacks with the Hydra, that shuts down the only block with my Indestructible Nylea plan, because you're still taking trample damage. And you can gang up on it, but you're also going to lose your own Hydra. We're going to start the turn off by cycling the Emissary. Or we're going to think about it first. I don't think you do that.
I don't think you have to, because you have to pump something.
Well, you give yourself the most options. You're not. There's no advantage to doing it before you attack. Alright. So he's going to attack. Alright, so he's just pumping pre-combat. I'm dropping all of my belongings on the floor. So we attack with a Courser. Annihilea.
I mean, you have to pump your Courser. I don't know.
So this will kill the Logan's Hydra here.
No. Pumping them. Huh.
So now it'll kill the Genesis Hydra. One Courser dies, one Courser bounces off Logan's Courser, and Garrett only takes 1 point of damage due to trample off of the Hydra. Kill the Burning Tree off of the Karanos trigger, revealing Courser of Crifix.
What is Hornet's Nest?
Hornet's Nest, that's a saucy one. Another bullet in this Chord of Calling deck. As courting for Hornet's Nest mid attack step or mid combat. It's pretty exciting.
Wouldn't be too bad.
Just go ahead and get some blocks in there and make about 6, 7.
Bounce it off that Annihilea.
Hornets, pretty good right there. Pretty good indeed. Not as exciting with Annihilea being online, as the Death Touch isn't as lucrative when it's trampling over for a 3, 4, 5 damage. But Garrett tapping 7. We got another Hydra coming out.
I would assume it's the Chord.
4 mana. 4 Chord for 1.
Well then.
Not sure what was going on there. Maybe Logan asking to confirm what was on top before we shuffle it away. So if the Chord is in fact for 1, we can only go get Mystic here, right? And the other? Pack Rats. This format has been of rats and revs. This game, however, getting underway with a turn 1 Elvish Mystic. Garrett on the play. He's down a game in our round 1 feature match. Trying to break even, starting off ideally with a turn 1 Mana Dork. Meanwhile, Logan starts off with, this is a rare occurrence where both players are playing the red-headed stepchild of the Temple collection.
I don't think so.
Temple of Mystery.
I don't think it's this. You got Temple of Malice.
It was very heavily played right around when it was released. Gen Planeswalkers is a real big deal these days.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, they're all good. It's just the flavor of the week. Not a lot of blue-green. Not a lot of call for blue-green.
I would assume with cons being the bizarre wedges that will help.
As the chat starting to weigh in on our question we posed between games there. Which card from Return of Ravnica block are we excited to see rotate out? To go along with the Pack Rat and Sphinx's Revelation, we've got 20 minutes remaining in the round. Of course,
pretty close.
Our clock, of course, for entertainment purposes only. Aetherling and Supreme Verdict also getting a shout out.
Well, my Birth Decay, I'm kind of fine with.
Meanwhile, back in the match, Garrett accelerating into a turn 2 Courser, then a turn 3 Xenagos, make a Satyr, leaving it back on defense, not wanting to trade it, not wanting to run it into a Sylvan Caryatid. There's really no value in that at all. And Logan has the all-ramp, no business draw here, as Garrett revealing, does not want to be outdone by Logan's blue-green deck. He plays Kiora, the Crashing Wave as well, plays a Temple of Mystery. We're going to leave that Kiora on top. Tick up our Xenagos, or leave our Xenagos at 0, I should say. Make another Satyr token and just pass the turn back here. So Garrett getting way ahead on board. He's already got 1 Planeswalker online, another one on its way. Content to just play the long game here against Logan, who has no pressure so far, although finding a Nykthos will complicate things, as his devotion is already at 6. So he can net 3 mana off that Nykthos. His own Kiora revealed on top of his deck, thanks to a freshly summoned Courser of Crufix. He just passes the turn back. So Kiora drawn for Garrett. Need to flip that top card. Logan reminding him it's a Pelucranos. Pretty good.
Like a pretty good start
pretty
right
good
now.
Sequence of draws here for Garrett. I mean, this is basically the dream draw, isn't it? Turn 1 Mystic, turn 2 Courser, turn 3 Xenagos into anything is pretty good,
Yeah,
but into the
Kiora.
option of Kiora and then Pelucranos seems pretty exciting. Also getting some, again with our glad to see rotate cards, Blood Baron and Lifebane Zombie. Lifebane Zombie is also very oppressive. I don't think people realize that, but it is very oppressive. A sideboard card that you can main deck 4 copies of, lose no value, and it's also a win con.
Well, yeah, because it has Intimidate. It's the best out of that cycle because I can't even remember the other ones in that.
Witch Stalker.
And
Mindsparker.
which I had high hopes for that card.
What's the green-white one?
You mean the white one?
The white one, yeah. Oh, Fiendslayer Paladin. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Which one are we forgetting? The blue one?
Blue one. Oh, Typebinder Mage.
No, it's good too.
Which I think that one's probably seen a little bit more.
They're all playable. All of them except Mindsparker are playable, but they're a lot more of them are niche. Lifebane Zombie is just a good Magic card. Meanwhile, we've assembled the Super Friends of Rouseric and Xenagos. We know there's a Kiora.
There she is.
Super Friends assembled. So don't say we didn't bring you some interesting Magic right out of the gate. Come in. There's room.
Alright.
Alright. Jonathan Wright making a cameo.
Stanley did not want to be here with me.
Couldn't handle the. His status is not local legend, so he can't.
I know.
He can't. He's got to up his game. Super Friends assembled. We're used to on the stream seeing Alec Myers play at Naya Super Friends and assembling a variety of Xenagos, Garrett, and Elspeth. Garrett not to be outdone. Kiora, Rouseric, and Xenagos. We've got 2 blue planeswalkers on the board, and neither of them is a Jace. So Kiora ticks up, Rouseric ticks up, Xenagos makes another Satyr. No, Xenagos had to tick up to cast Kiora. That Pelucranos still hanging out there on top for Garrett. And Logan courting at end of turn for his own Pelucranos.
And there's another one.
So a fresh Pelucranos off the top, and another Pelucranos on the top.
Good thing he quartered for that one.
Well, I mean, you can't...
we can't blame that.
If he hadn't courted, he wouldn't have shuffled the other 2 to the top.
Yeah,
It's a Schrodinger's cat scenario.
Garrett wouldn't be able to cut those up there.
Alright, so Logan has a lot of options here. So we're gonna start off, I believe, by activating Nykthos, or we're gonna cast another spell prior to add to Devotion. I think his hand is 2 lands in the Pelucranos. He may not have as many options as I thought. Someone asking in the chat if this is the real Zach. I am a real Zach. I don't know if I'm the real Zach.
Don't accept any imitations.
Well, I mean, I would certainly hope you wouldn't devalue yourself. There's a game day participation Reclamation Sage that looks infinitely better than the pack version. Oh my.
That's a saucy meatball.
Now, here's the question. Is Garrett scooping, or is Garrett... Yes, Garrett is just scooping him up. There's no way he's going to come back for it. And there you see the power of Nykthos with Cyclonic Rift. Garrett was in a position where he would win 99% of games, but his opponent did have a non-land card in his hand. It was Cyclonic Rift. He had the mana to overload it, which means everything Garrett had done up to that point
meant nothing.
Meant nothing.
The dream died.
The dream died. But both games very exciting. We'll get Garrett's Chord deck lists up on our Facebook page later throughout the weekend. Is it saying Zac Efron? Well, Zac Efron doesn't spell his name with an H, I don't think. So.
So he spells it a little cooler.
He spells it cooler.